In this video, I want to cover 3 reasons you need a surrogacy contract if you are pursuing surrogacy. So the first reason is really relevant in Ontario, and it depends what jurisdiction a surrogate is delivering the baby in. But in Ontario, having a surrogacy agreement is a key ingredient in having a faster, cheaper process at a later stage. So let me explain. When a baby is born in Ontario via surrogacy, there are 2 different routes that the couple or the parent can go. One route is streamlined. It's paperwork is how I can kind of summarize it. It's paperwork. We call it a declaration. It has to be filled in correctly and witnessed, but it gets sent off to the government and a birth certificate can be issued. So it's special surrogacy paperwork. The other option is going to court. And until just a few years ago, everybody had to go to court, but the law changed. So now going to court is not necessary in the majority of cases, as long as you have a surrogacy agreement. So if there's a surrogacy agreement and both sides got independent legal advice, that streamlined process is available. Without a surrogacy agreement, people have to go to court, do all the paperwork involved with going to court, affidavits, filing in court, serving, etc., and then get a judge to issue an order saying the intended parents are the parent, the surrogate is not a mother. That court order then gets sent off to the government. So between the two, it's pretty much a no-brainer because one is faster and cheaper and more private than the other option that involves going to court. So hands down, having an agreement helps with making the cheaper, faster route an option. The second reason is to avoid conflict. So much of the surrogacy agreement is figuring out where do the parties land on certain issues and are they on the same page? Is there a meeting of the minds? An example that I often give is with respect to termination of a pregnancy. If intended parents know that in the event of some sort of genetic abnormality, they would consider termination of the pregnancy, it's really important to confirm that a surrogate is open to that. If a surrogate is completely opposed to an abortion under all circumstances, even a serious genetic abnormality, then this might not be a good fit. So some of the process of the contract is making these conversations happen and figuring out where people have certain positions and do they line up? Because if not, sometimes it's better to go separate ways than to go down a path of surrogacy and potentially have a really devastating conflict that could arise. And the last reason is evidence of intention. So in the very, and I do mean very unlikely event, a matter ended up in court. For example, a surrogate changing her mind and saying she wants to keep the baby. The contract can be used as evidence of intention. What did the parties intend? So if there's a contract and legal advice and counseling, there's all these pieces to say she did understand. She had multiple opportunities to be assessed by a variety of professionals. She knew what she was signing. And so the intention is very, very clear. So the surrogacy agreement would help to demonstrate intention. And that is actually recognized in the law. In Ontario, we actually have some language that was added a couple of years ago that says surrogacy agreements are not enforceable. Don't love that. But it goes on to say, except for proving intention around parentage. So in the unlikely event a surrogate or intended parents, for that matter, change their mind, using the contract in court as evidence of what everybody planned would be appropriate. So those are the 3 reasons to skip having to go to court, to get the birth registration, to avoid conflict, and evidence of intention in the event the matter ended up in court, which again, very unlikely. I don't want to scare anybody. So that is it for this video. I hope you learned something new, and I will see you in the next one.